What was your read on Capo today and the steps he's taking here to get back to game action finally?
Yeah, he's progressing, obviously, and he was in some drills today, so that was nice to see. And we'll just see where we go from here. He's still day to day, but certainly, as it has been for the last little bit, encouraging that he's on the ice and back in practice for sure.
You've been through kind of the gauntlet of 6 games, 10 days on the road, back home now. I mean, what benefit is there now to having a bit of a lighter schedule this week to do what you want to do in practice now?
Well, we haven't had a lot of practice time because we have been on the road and we have played, pretty much every second day, with the back-to-back in there. But, you get a little bit more opportunity to work on a couple of things that you need to work on. So that's the benefit of it, and then a little bit of rest. The interesting thing with that is there's a balance between rest and rhythm. And when you get playing every second night, you get into a bit of a rhythm. So you have to understand that there's a rest component, but you have to keep your rhythm.
How do you keep that rhythm up then during this
practice? Practice, yeah. You got to have intensity in practice and some pace and things like that. So, do some things 5-on-5 in practice like we were doing today.
You just faced Montreal pretty recently, face them again. What did you learn from that game, both about your team and the other team, what you can kind of do differently?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a few things potentially that we can make little adjustments to. I thought the game itself, for the most part, was a good hockey game. I thought it was well played by both teams. They're a fast team, and they're in first place, obviously, in their division. They're, I think, 6th or something in goals for per game, so they're scoring goals. They've got a lot of skill and a lot of speed. Obviously they've got some dynamic defensemen as well, so they're a very, very challenging hockey team for anybody, and they're proving that right now, being in first place.
How are you feeling about how your team is limiting rushes against?
I think pretty good. I think that, and we've talked about it as a group here. I think there's some things that we can do better when we do come into the zone with some of our reads. So that'll, again, enhance our ability to, not give up any chances or things like that off the rush. So it's a work in progress.
Lane, how has shot blocking evolved as a defensive strategy compared to, let's say, when you played back in the 80s, 90s? It seems like it's a lot more prevalent nowadays.
Maybe because they keep the stats on that, probably. But if you're in the right position defensively, there's often times that the puck's going to hit you, and this is part of the strategy. I mean, there's a lot of teams with a lot of players that block shots, and we're included in that.
Lane, you talked a little bit about Vince in post-game last game. What are the elements of his play that you find so valuable to this group?
Well, he's got a super smart with the puck. He can make plays. He has the ability to escape, forechecks on his own to a certain degree, and then make a play. So he's a good puck mover. And he can be a physical element, a physical presence. When I started watching a lot of him in the summer, I was very impressed with that side of his game. I think he's played very well for us.
I was talking to Lars about this as well. Do you think he gets enough credit for his ability for that first pass to get the puck out of the zone and start the offensive attack?
Well, I don't know if he gets enough credit outwardly. I'm not really sure, but I sure give him credit for it.
Is Jared McCann progressing at all, or is he kind of just in a holding pattern?
Right now he's in a little bit of a holding pattern, so we'll see where we go with him. We should know more here day to day as we go forward.
Lane, you talked a little bit about the fourth line the other night, but Myers in particular, what have you liked? And obviously with Freddie out, he's served a big purpose.
Yeah, he gives us an element of face-offs, a secondary face-off guy. We can throw him out there in D-zone face-offs when we need 2 centermen. I've liked, the speed to his game. I've liked, his ability to have certain reads, and just that whole line in general. Like I said, they hound the puck, and create turnovers, and they're very good on the forecheck. So it gives us an element that we desperately need in that role and in that position.
Lane, you talked about rhythm as far as practice goes. With your goaltending trio, does that factor into your decision making, or is it the best guy for the game?
Well, obviously we have our games earmarked here, and Joey's our number one guy, and then from there we're trying to keep the other two in rhythm. There's no question that it's a challenge, but our goaltending coach is doing a really good job, and with the practice time, and certainly the practice time that we have here at home, it's very helpful for those guys to stay in rhythm.
Ryan Lambert has had to play through a couple unlucky incidents so far this season. What have you thought about his first month with the Kraken?
I really like him. He's a competitor, and he just goes about his business. There isn't a lot of conversation, and he's a great teammate. When he says something, people listen, kind of like that. But that every day he steps on the ice, he's going to be competing, and that's extremely important from a leadership standpoint for me.